Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of RevTalks. Today we're joined with Shannon over at Intelligent Voice AI. How's it going today, Shannon?
Hey, Patrick. Thank you for having me. It's going well. Thank you for asking.
Absolutely. Can you give us a little high-level overview about the company and what you guys are building in the AI space?
Yeah, another AI company, right? Well, intelligent voice AI is really what we like to consider agentic voice AI. AI voice is kind of table stakes now, and there's a multitude of different platforms that are out there. What differentiates us is that our agentic AI can do the standard, call scheduling, call answering, outbound calling as well, manage a calendar or two, but it can also manage up to 25 calendars, and it can do data entry. It can handle billing and support RCM, revenue cycle management processes, in order to increase operational efficiency. Our real vision and mission statement really is to increase operational efficiency with enterprise level technology for the SMB market.
Okay, I see. And I noticed on the website, you guys are mainly targeting, it looks like kind of an HVAC, home improvement kind of segment of the market. What's kind of the thought process behind that specifically?
Yeah, well, we were built purposefully to increase operational efficiency. And again, going back to that SMB kind of market, when you think of HVAC companies or plumbing companies, mostly those organizations are lacking in some capacity as it relates to their speed to lead. So we wanted to focus in on markets that we could assist not only in making sure every call was answered and booked and had follow up, but also to appropriately provide that operational efficiency as it relates to kind of data entry, billing cycle management, follow ups, promote marketing, provide them with opportunities where they can scale without really having to add much overhead that goes beyond just answering a phone call.
Absolutely. And for current customers, what do you see as kind of the biggest sort of aha moment or biggest result they're typically getting with the actual software?
Yeah, great question. And so I think when you are talking about our current customer base, I think one of the biggest moments they have is that they have this new sense of found freedom, which gives them opportunities to think more strategically about their business. When you're having to be on jobs or to answer the call every time the phone rings, put out fires every day, as most organization owners have to do, when you are able to get 2, 3, 4 hours of your day back, compound that by a week and by a month, and not only just for yourself, but for your other staff, the way that they see their time coming back to them and how much more they are able to accomplish as a strategist within their organization, or thinking of new ways where they can become more efficient for their customers and provide better services and solutions for their customers in ways that they never thought of before because they didn't have the time, I think really translates to them generally within the first 45 days. They see immediate impact regarding revenue. They see immediate impact regarding how much they're gaining in ROAS. And so that their ROI quotient increases drastically within 60 to 90 days, but they start seeing movement positively within the first 45. So I think those are really the key components for them within that first few months. We start thinking a little bit longer term, 6 months down the line, 9 months down the line. Some of our clients are actually thinking of ways that they can build new agents to do different things. We've got one HVAC company who is looking at Williams, as a matter of fact, Williams Heating and Air. They are looking for ways that they can increase revenue by selling monthly subscriptions or quarterly subscriptions so that they can have their customers buy into some sort of a VIP plan that manages their HVAC and their heating systems seasonally. So that's just another revenue stream for them. And this is something that they thought about for years, but didn't really have the capabilities to execute because it was just too cost prohibitive. Now they can build an AI agent with us, and that AI agent will be the one that actually acts as the outbound SDR, book appointments, and actually schedule conversations with Williams so that they can actually sell more of these packages. And that's a new revenue lead generation for them as well as a revenue stream.
Absolutely. And kind of speaking of current clients and how they're looking at kind of charging more of a SaaS model too, how specifically do you guys charge as well? Do you guys charge per project for implementation fee, or are you guys strictly kind of more on the low ticket side or per usage? How does that work for you guys?
Yeah. Like all businesses, we have to be profitable. So as we look at each individual client, we create bespoke solutions. So if you're working with Service Titan or say Jobber, those are kind of canned out of the box solutions that are basically non customized to a specific entity relevant to the different functionality. It basically just has one or two functions within it. So for us, we basically look at what are the needs of our clients for what they are needing and what they are looking for. One of our customers, Nickel City Plumbing, they were so gung ho about having AI. They were looking at like a $2,000 a month fee that included everything, minutes and top line agentic AI. We really looked at their business through our evolved methodology, which is basically a transformational integration methodology that we have this proprietary, bad business, I'm sure, but we basically said you don't need a $2,000 a month program. You basically need something that's $299 a month. And so we sold them on the $299 a month. And so to answer your question, it's really case by case. There are generally integration fees depending upon the type of integration that's needed. And then our platform can run anywhere from, $200 a month up to the thousands a month, depending upon how deep the integration needs to be.
Perfect. And I know you did mention too briefly before we started recording a couple different ways you're going about acquiring new customers. I know you touched on some different ways specifically. What current ways are you guys kind of going about acquisition on the front end for things? What have you guys tried? Like what really hasn't worked and what are you trying to kind of double down on as we move through these next couple months?
Yeah, I don't think you're any stranger to how congested marketing can be. So, especially with AI, we've tried just about everything, and it's a very crowded market. And it seems today that everybody and their brother wants to sell AI agents. And quite frankly, you can get an AI agent through Claude for $99 a month, right? So we've gone down the path of paid. We're very heavily focused on agentic engine optimization and generative engine optimization, as well as SEO. We've done email marketing. We've done, LinkedIn and socials as well. I think where we find our best value as far as marketing, and it's not just in the acquisition of client or customer, but it's also in what we're providing to our customers and clients, is working with associations, trade associations, and industry associations, both at the state level as well as nationally, where it gives us opportunities to really educate. Again, going back to Nickel City, they wanted, a Cadillac when in reality, all they needed was essentially a Hyundai. And so being able to educate on what it can do for them. And I think one of the biggest issues that a lot of people are facing right now is the negative that they're hearing about AI. And don't get me wrong, there's negative about AI and some of it is warranted. But a lot of it really comes down to what does the organization want to do? And it doesn't necessarily mean when you put AI into a workplace that the organization is going to wind up going through a workforce reduction and laying people off. For us, it's about educating. So how does an organization become more operationally efficient? How can they get more out of their employees without overwhelming them continuously and stressing them out? So how do we build that out for them? What are the use cases that AI can be developed for each organization? And there's a baseline to most of them, but there's also a lot of customization that's needed because not every organization runs the same. So I think for us personally, being able to share that with these associations and their members, because their members pay a fee to be a part of those associations. And so they trust the association. And so by us working closely with the associations and gaining trust with the association, we then can leverage that trust and earn the trust of their members, who then allow us an opportunity to work with them and kind of educate them and provide them with a roadmap for them integrating AI into their organization. Doesn't matter if it's an HVAC company or a medical practice. We find that this seems to be a very strong route for us because we're just not trying to sell at mass scale. We're trying to build quality relationships that allow us to be a partner, not just for a 1-year tech stack integration, but we want to be partners for them and with them for 5 to 10 years to come.
I see. Yeah, definitely. And it's very interesting how I'm sure you've seen it. The barrier of entry to businesses has exponentially just gone up. And
Yeah.
that's really the only factor. I mean, it's just a trust in the market because, there's so much spray and pray going out there, a lot of spam, as you mentioned before, during the reporting too. And it's just like there's absolutely no way to differentiate yourself unless you are doing a different mechanism or there's some way to where through a trusted partner, like you mentioned, or something else. But there really is a high barrier of entry for really putting yourself out there, I would say.
Yeah, it really depends on what you are as an individual, but who you are as an organization. One of our mantras is to provide the best technology that we can to increase operational efficiency for our clients, but also to delight the client as well. So if we think about that in that vein over and over again, everything that we do is trying to provide an educational front, not just sell. We want them to understand, how AI can work for them. And in doing so, we probably lose some clients too, because we can share with them that, maybe AI isn't right for you at this point in time. And that could be because of a host of different reasons. It could be just based on their belief system. It could be based on what they believe AI is today and what it will be tomorrow. Or it will help enlighten them in ways where they are only thinking of AI at maybe a tier one kind of platform usage, and we can expose to them and share with them different ways that it can help through our evolved methodology, which essentially is, instead of rethink, reuse, replace, we look at it from an illuminate, alleviate, and then elevate. So we're taking these three different approaches to understanding and doing a very deep dive into an organization to really understand how they function in every aspect of their business. Then we find those areas where we think AI could be applicable, and we work with the owners to really help them determine how AI can help their business become more operationally efficient. We build specifically to that, and we define KPIs that both us and the client agree upon. And then once we have that deployed, we then look at ways to help elevate the company so it can grow, not only in its operational efficiency, but in net profitability as well. So I think by taking that approach and looking at it from that perspective, we choose not to do, as you call, the spray and pray. We choose to be selective because we want those relationships to mean something, not only to us, but more importantly, to our partners and customers. So the barriers to entry for most organizations are it's tough. You're competing with 500 different voice AI companies on Instagram or Meta or even on LinkedIn. And no one's really talking about in their marketing and their advertising, what a partnership looks like. It's all kind of features and benefits. It's all pain point and pain point resolution. And everyone's doing that. I think our approach is a little bit more about how can we partner with you? How can we be with you to help you grow? And then what does that look like moving forward for both their organization and ours?
Absolutely. That makes total sense. And once again, for the audience as well, what is the company website too? And where can we find you on LinkedIn as well?
Yeah. Well, thank you for asking and giving me a shameless plug of my company. I appreciate that. Well, the name of the company is Intelligent Voice AI. That's a very long URL. So we cut the URL down to getivai.com. So getivai.com. And if you want to look for me personally on LinkedIn, it's just Shannon Diem. And if you're looking for our company on LinkedIn, it's Intelligent Voice _ AI.
Really, well, I appreciate you joining up here today for RevTalks, Shannon. Hope you have a great rest of your day as well.